So I want to get to this Beautillion-Cotillion because I'm intrigued by it because I am a 1999 graduate of the Chicagoland area Beautillion for Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and ended up being an Alpha 3 years later. So I'm just saying.
That explains why you have so much great culture and you're so civically engaged.
That's
because
it.
You participated in that.
It goes back to the Beautillion and Cotillion. So,
Please.
but for what you're doing here with the Beautillion and Cotillion, I want to give you the platform to talk about those programs and what you hope to accomplish through them, Dr. Tarcha Rentz.
Well, thank you. What I will say to you is that my husband Ishmael was a part of the Beautillion here in Gainesville.
Yeah, that's why I love it.
1988
Okay, I need to get Kerwin on Beautillion.
Come on, Kerwin.
Maybe we need to, can Kerwin do it, or you have to be a certain age?
You have to be junior or senior.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
He's a senior already. That's funny.
Yeah, so Ishmael was in the Beautillion that used to occur here annually. Actually, it's alternated between a Beautillion and a Cotillion. So in 88, he was in the Beautillion. In 89, I was in the Cotillion. And it flip-flopped like that for several years. Many of our great leaders that exist in our communities today, they're, our seniors. They were the ones putting on the Beautillion. So your Dr. Leonetta McNeely, your Dr. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson, Vivian Fowler, all these different people were very involved in putting on our Beautillion experience. And from that, like you, Jason, I don't know how many people you've stayed in touch with, but for us, Ishmael talked about it during the pandemic. A number of those people we're still friends with.
Ironically, two of the guys that participated in my Beautillion were on. They're my line brothers.
Wow.
So that's how small the world is. But yes, build those relationships during that time, and they last for a lifetime.
Exactly. At the time when I did it my junior year. Ishmael did Beautillion his senior year. At the time, I didn't fully understand the fullness of what I was involved in. I think what it has been for me is I see my son and many others come through the pandemic. We had enough time to kind of reflect on our childhood and many of the transitions that we had and milestones that we had growing up. And I had a conversation with Matt Bowman, who at this time was the president of 100 Black Men of Greater Florida, Gainesville, about resurrecting Beautillions in our community. And I had a conversation as well with a Mrs. Edwina Hurst some months ago about our girls. And she said, well, I don't think we should just do a Beautillion. I think we need to do something for the girls. So hence we came with the combo Beautillion-Cotillion this year. In the future, we'll look at whether or not we will keep it a combo or will we alternate like we used to do. But like I said, president of the 100 Black Men of Greater Florida, Gainesville, Matt Bowman, and I were talking about the Beautillion-Cotillion experience, and he thought, let's do it. Your nonprofit, wishful thinking, and my nonprofit with my brothers, we can come together and do this joint venture. And so here we are now, having the Beautillion-Cotillion in April of this year.
I'm so excited about it that I wish Kerwin and I could be a part of it. I also didn't do a Cotillion or a Beautillion. We're too old, Jason. We're not.
We can be a part of it and donate and participate.
Actually, the educators.
You can come and
volunteer.
Oh, good. Okay, you can take on the stage, ma'am.
But we offer some college prep services, but I am so excited about it.
Yeah, me too.
Wish that there was an adult version.
Yeah. I know what it did for my life, and it stuck with me, because I did that in '99, and I'm only 24, so I was 6 when that happened, but it definitely benefited. And we did etiquette services leading up to it, other than just dancing and doing fundraising. We did etiquette classes. We did business management. We learned how to budget, write a check. Nobody writes checks anymore, but you kind of scan them in now, But yeah, we learned so many soft skills that benefited me to this day as a grown man with a family. So yeah, I love it.
And you're right on in alignment with what we're doing currently with this group of young people. So they have started already the process of taking classes. So a Beautillion-Cotillion experience involves classes. Yeah. And those classes are classes that they can utilize in their adulthood, in their lives. Yeah. Dr. Scott, she spoke of, being a supporter of the event. They had a chance to actually participate in one of her virtual college prep courses, financial aid information sessions. Yeah. They've also done a project with Wishful Thinking, which Wishful Thinking actually services breast cancer survivors that are in treatment phase. Yeah. And those students came together. Gifts were purchased by Wishful Thinking and other partners in the community, and those students came together, wrapped the presents, and then took them over to the Cancer Center at North Florida Regional Hospital, now called HCA. Yeah. And they got a chance to meet a nurse oncologist who is an African American woman who looks like them. And they got to hear about, the health disparities that exist in our communities. And we're really trying to develop advocacy in that space as well, because our health is our wealth. Yeah. And many of our family members and people in our community are suffering. Some of them quietly, they're not being proactive in taking care of themselves, exercising, eating right, seeing the doctor, for preventive care. And so these young people, we want them to utilize their voice in that space as well, to talk to grandma, to talk to uncle, auntie, making sure that we keep abreast of how we're all doing, not just physically, but even socio-emotionally. So they've been involved in that space, as well as they have the etiquette classes, like you said. They're going to have a financial literacy class this weekend with Naima and Marcus Robinson with Robinson Financial. Yeah. Also going to have another event with Wells Fargo, a health and wellness piece where they do yoga and learn about healthy eating. I think one of the major things that we've been able to do even already is really connecting students with different networks and opportunities that they oftentimes aren't made aware of. Yeah. I think sometimes we as parents, I have a senior in high school and a 10th grader here in Alachua County. I think, when I was in high school, and it may have been the same for you all, the school counselor had a little more time to talk to you about college options and maybe a little bit about financial aid, or at least tell you that there's a recruiter on campus. And unfortunately, a lot of students aren't getting that. And parents sometimes think that the school is going to take care of it, or if not the school, the coach will take care of it. The coach will let us know what we need to do to get the scholarship. And so I'm thankful for the relationship that I have and our community has with Education Equalizer, that we can turn to a Dr. Scott and say, hey, I have a student who's trying to get into college, or a student that hasn't taken the ACT, and she can provide resources. And the relief that parents have is just amazing. Yeah. Some of our parents were really thinking that they didn't have to complete their free federal financial aid form until January 1st. That's an old date. It's no, and so they are still sitting around in December and haven't completed that information. And so we were thankful to be able to say, okay, Dr. Scott's available. You need to get on top of that. And so I think that sense of community too, that develops amongst the kids, that we're all headed somewhere. It may not be FAMU, but we're all headed towards adulthood, kind of vocation. I think that's been very important. Also, parents, they need affirmation, and all of our kids deserve an opportunity. They deserve, as much support as we can give them. And sometimes it does require a village. I needed a village. Yes. For my kids. And even though I'm an educator and both my husband and I are college graduates, we needed support. And so that's what I hope that this event is giving. I feel like it is. The students themselves have been able to connect with each other. They're at different schools. They're not all at the same high schools in Alachua County. We were reaching out to Marion County, but we didn't get as many participants as we thought we might get from there. So our students are here in Alachua County, but they're getting to know each other and support each other. And they're meeting their school board representatives in a way that they had never done before. I see them developing their voice. And that's powerful. because they need to know how to advocate for themselves. So we're being intentional in that space. And I know you, Mr. Hurst, you know how to advocate for yourself. And I would dare to say some of those seeds were planted by that experience. If not that experience, someone helped you find a way to network and to ask for help and to say, I don't know. Could you teach me? That's something our young people have not felt safe in being able to do. And this particular event, these classes, the networking, them meeting educated individuals that look like them has been powerful for them. We were very selective in who we have as instructors. So even the Robinsons, they are an African-American husband and wife team. Marcus is a FAMU grad. That was not intentional, but
it is. It's always intentional. Come on, Doc. You already know.
But when we think about them learning about first impressions, how to present themselves, how to do public speaking, how to dress for an event, the etiquette, we're considering all of those things. Who's teaching them? So we want men involved. So we're very intentional about making sure the men and women, there's a nice balance of individuals that speak into their lives. And it doesn't necessarily have to just be your mom and your dad to do it.
Yeah, that's so good.
I really like that. I think that what you're doing is so valuable and so necessary.
Yeah.
And I like that you also spoke to the burden that's on our guidance counselors right now in high school. I mean, when we were in school, we didn't have active shooter drills.
Oh God, no.
Like there's so much going on these days that I just would have never imagined my child would have to go through. And it's up to us as community members to create opportunities for success for our kids. You know, speaking of opportunities for success, I've personally witnessed one of the Beautillion members at a speaking engagement during MLK activities. I want to say, was it last night or the night before? What was his name? What was
Wednesday night. Zachary.
And he was phenomenal. I mean, he was phenomenal. He set the cadence. He followed protocol. He spoke at Missionary Baptist Church, I believe. And he talked about Dr. King's dream and do we understand the assignment? And he gave a brief history lesson to children at Caring and Sharing Learning School. And I mean, it was just so appropriate and so impactful to hear a message from a young person who gets it, who is quote unquote, as they say, woke. Like definitely woke for justice.
He's a lot more woke than we ever were then.
You know, so I can already see the phenomenal job that the Cotillion and Beautillion is doing. And I'm not joking when I say that Kerwin and I need to be in it. I wasn't in one.
Get y'all grown tails.
I don't even know what I even go fix these bits.
Yeah.
I don't know what spoon to use.
Exactly, yeah.
But then,
outside of you. Just so you know.
But you know,
I just look at Tarsha and Ishmael. I just look at what you just said.
Pack it till you make it. We get that principle.
You know, I was really impressed too, and that was at Day Springs Missionary Baptist Church with Dr. Marie Herring. Mm-hmm. And you know, so it was great to see them on stage because I grew up in a very traditional church that you had Easter programs and Christmas programs, and you had a chance to do a speech, and that's kind of where you develop a voice.
Yeah.
And you learn to stand before crowds and things of that nature. I'm also a pastor's kid, so I understood that. But a lot of our young people, they don't have those opportunities anymore. And many of the schools used to have, seasonal holiday programs where kids would perform at school and families came in and watched you and, you know, they affirmed you and whatnot. I think we have to learn how to be more intentional with the types of opportunities we provide for our young people now. Because, and they're also more into their phones. So that's another thing that's drawing their attention. And we have to help them put down the phones and engage people, real people, you know? And so, you know, the speaking engagements and things like that, public speaking, those are still very powerful. And our young people have things to say and they're thinking. And so I'm thankful that this opportunity provides a place for them to really, sharpen their skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Good.
I'm so glad that you're celebrating the grades, the literature, and you're getting our kids civically involved. It's so important that our kids start early so that they can continue to hone in on those abilities and they can become like Jason,
Better than Jason. And start those habits early. Yeah, I see where you're going there, but no.
So thank you everybody for tuning into our show featuring Dr. Tarcha Rentz on College Talk on the all-new Powered 92.1 FM, broadcasting throughout Greater Northern Central Florida. That includes Ocala, Gainesville, Jacksonville, and Crystal River. With the voices of College Talk, Tarji Scott and Jason Hurst.
The first.
Thanks, Tarcha.